Good morning. Thank you all for joining us. We will get started in just a moment once we clear the waiting room. As a reminder, when you are entering from the waiting room, please do remain on mute unless or until you are providing testimony before the board. Good morning. This is a hearing before the Licensing Board for the City of Boston. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. Today's hearing is being held pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman of the Board, Kathleen Joyce.
Thanks, Danny. Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Licensing Board, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Commissioner Kiana Saxon and Commissioner Liam Curran.
Thank you very much. I will call each item in the order that it appears on this morning's agenda. We'll then ask who is present on behalf of the applicant. You will then make a brief presentation regarding your proposal, followed by questions by the chair and commissioners. Following questions, there will be an opportunity for testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives. For members of the public wishing to provide testimony, please limit your testimony to 2 minutes, and please state your name, address, and affiliation, if any. We'll begin with the first item on this morning's agenda, calling item number 1, GTI Properties, Inc., doing business as the Power Station located at 530 Harrison Ave in Roxbury. Holder of a general on-premise all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Sean Fitzgerald to Giampaolo Donato Nicosia. Attorney Andrew Upton. Attorney Upton.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Upton for the licensee. With me is Giampaolo Nicosia, the proposed manager. He is the current director of operations at the facility. They are getting rid of the catering service that they had in the past, so they're going to bring all alcohol operations in-house. So he will be the full-time on-site manager. He is a U.S. citizen. He's a Mass resident who lives in the neighborhood and can walk to work. He has been a bartender and a server in his past. And as I said, he works full-time at this family business, and they will be standing up their own alcohol service, of which he will be in charge. And with that, we're glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Nicosia. I have no questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon?
No questions for me. Thank you.
None from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you. Calling item number 2, Trinity Stewart Concessions LLC, doing business as the Raffles Hotel, located at 40 Trinity Place. Holder of an in-holder all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Oliver Dudler to Pavel Nadanov. Attorney Andrew Upton once again. Attorney Upton.
Good morning again, everyone, and happy holidays. Andrew Upton for the licensee. With me is Pavel Nadanov. He is the proposed manager of record. He already works full-time at the hotel. He has experience at the Chatham Bars Inn. He has worked at Moo. He has worked at Mistral. He has worked at Sorolina and other high-end alcohol serving establishments in Boston and Massachusetts. He's a U.S. citizen. He's a Mass resident. He has the experience I described. He's familiar with the rules and regulations of the board, and he's here with me to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Attorney. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you?
I do not. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Calling item number 3, J.J. Donovan, Inc., doing business as Donovan's Tavern, located at 27 Clinton Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Deborah Holt to Carl Krebs. Attorney Tom Miller. Attorney Miller? Oh, Attorney Miller, we can't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. So, good morning, Chairman Joyce, Commissioners, Secretary Green, Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller and Hanley on behalf of the licensee. I'm joined this morning by Carl Krebs, the proposed manager of record. He's worked at the licensee for more than 25 or almost 25 years and has been a manager supervising the sale and service of alcohol for more than 12. He is a United States citizen, a resident of the North End. As I've said, he is experienced in the industry. He is TIPS trained. He is familiar with the laws of the Commonwealth, the rules of the ABCC, and of this board for the sale and service of alcohol. We want to thank you for hearing this application today and would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Attorney Miller, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Krebs, I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 4, the 15 LaGrange Street Corporation, doing business as the Glass Slipper, located at 22 LaGrange Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Alan Goldstein to William Bennett Jr. Attorney George DeBoer. Attorney DeBoer.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the board, and Mr. Green. I am here with William Bennett, who was petitioning to become the manager of record. He is a U.S. citizen. He's a resident of the Commonwealth. He's TIPS trained. He's familiar with the rules and regulations. He's been a bartender for over 20 years at this establishment. He's also president of the corporation. And he respectfully asks that you act favorably on his petition. The previous petition passed away, and the reason that we're asking he be named the new manager. Thank you very much, and have a great holiday.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us today. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
No questions from me, thank you.
None from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you much. Have a great day.
And you.
Thank you.
Calling items 5, 6, and 7, Massachusetts Sports Service, Inc., doing business as Legends, as TD Garden, and as Viva Victory Den, all at 100 Legends Way. Holder of 3 common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages licenses has petitioned for a change of officers. Attorney Kristen Scanlon. Attorney Scanlon.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Green, Kristen Scanlon for the licensee. Brief housekeeping matter before you this morning is a simple change of officer for the licensed entity from Osbel Gordon as treasurer and vice president of finance, who's no longer with the company, to Elizabeth McDonald, who will step in the role as treasurer and vice president of finance. She's been with the company for 25 years in senior roles for strategic and operational finance. Other than that, there are no other changes proposed regarding the licenses.
Thank you. I have no questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
None. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on these 3 matters? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 8, the Pearl Group at Boston Landing LLC, doing business as the Pearl, located at 67 to 91 Guest Street in Brighton. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to pledge the license to Railyard Sports LLC. Attorney, who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, Elizabeth Pisano from Upton, Connell, and Devlin on behalf of the licensee, the Pearl Group at Boston Landing. This application is for a pledge of license to Railyard Sports LLC. The licensee in Railyard Sports entered into a promissory note for a loan in order to help cover costs for the build out and startup expenses, and they're using the license as collateral. That's the extent of it, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon, Commissioner Curran, do you?
I do not, thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Items 9 through 14 will be called together as they are all under one group. Item numbers 9 through 14, Seaport Hospitality Inc. located at 425 Summer Street. Northern Avenue Hospitality Inc. doing business as Gather at 75 Northern Ave. Item 11, Galway Inc. doing business as The Harp located at 85 Causeway Street. Item 12, Dunboy Inc. doing business as MJ O'Connor's Irish Pub located at 27 Columbus Ave. Item 13, 150 Canal Street Inc. located at 150 Canal Street. And item 14, Adair Inc. doing business as Ned Divines located at 2201 Faneuil Hall Marketplace. Holder of 6 common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages licenses has petitioned to pledge all 6 licenses to Eastern Bank. Attorney Tom Miller. Attorney Miller.
Good morning again, Chairman Joyce, Commissioners, Secretary Green, Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller and Hanley on behalf of the licensees.
Keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't unravel.
Okay.
These licensees, as Secretary Green mentioned, are all related entities, and these applications are all connected to an overall credit and security agreement between the licensees and Eastern Bank. As part of this agreement, the licensees are pledging their licenses to secure that financing. As the board is aware, these licenses were previously pledged to another lender. That lender has released those pledges, and we are working to provide evidence of that to the board as soon as we get it. These applications are purely an administrative matter and will not affect the day-to-day operations of these licensees. We want to thank you for taking the time to hear these applications today, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Attorney Miller. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
No questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on these matters?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Laura here from Constable Flynn's office. At this time, he would like to go on record in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on items 9 through 14? Board will take these under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 15, GRNAGRB of Mass LLC, doing business as Gordon Ramsay Burger, located at 120 John F. Fitzgerald Surface Road. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Michael Grigioni to Alondra Rivera. Secondly, has petitioned for a change of officers, directors, LLC managers. And thirdly, has petitioned for a change of ownership interest. And lastly, has petitioned for a change of stock interest. Attorney Gene Richard. Attorney Richard.
Thank you, Secretary Green, Madam Chairman, members of the board. This is a multi-amendment application, and I'll try to be both brief and explain what is somewhat complicated on the papers. First, the licensee wants to change officers, directors, and LLC managers. That itself is confusing, but they like to use corporate names for their LLC managers. And in essence, 4 persons are replacing the 2 previous LLC managers in various capacities. Secondly, there's a small update to the licensee's ownership structure. There is one individual in a sea of entities, Mr. Norman Abdullah. He had a 2% interest. He's dropping down to slightly over 1%. And minor as that is, it is a change in ownership, I was told, at the ABCC level. And what Norman Abdallah is giving up will go to all the existing licensees in equal proportion. So that's a very minor change with no impact on operations at all. Lastly, Ms. Rivera is the proposed manager. She is a citizen, a Massachusetts resident. She has extensive experience in food and beverage, including 12 years in restaurants, including about 7 or 8 years of managerial experience. She's been worked at Gordon Ramsay Burger since June in a managerial role, and was at Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen prior to that, and has been at other restaurants, is a ServSafe Proctor certified, and quite familiar with the rules and regulations related to the sale and service of alcoholic beverages. We would ask your approval pending any questions.
Thank you, Attorney. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement. Thank you. Calling item number 16, a related transaction, GRNARK of MALLC, doing business as Ramsey's Kitchen, located at 776 Boylston Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Charles Hunter to Adam Christian. Secondly, has petitioned for a change of officers, directors, LLC managers. Thirdly, has petitioned for a change of ownership interest. And lastly, has petitioned for a change of stock interest. Attorney Richard?
Thank you again, Secretary Green, Madam Chairman, and members of the board. I would repeat or repeat by reference what I said just a moment ago about the changes to officers and directors and the ownership structure. It's exactly the same for both above the licensed entity as a Burger or Ramsey's Kitchen. The on-premise manager for Ramsey's Kitchen, Mr. Christian, is a U.S. citizen and Massachusetts resident. Over a decade of experience in the restaurant business, including as a managing partner of a restaurant group and as GM, licensed GM, on the licensed GM of some non-GRNA restaurants. He has been working at Ramsey's Kitchen since June, and as with Ms. Rivera, is very familiar with the rules and regulations regarding sale and service of alcoholic beverages.
Thank you. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
None for me. Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. And calling item number 17, Fogo de Chao Churrascaria Boston LLC, doing business as Fogo de Chao Churrascaria, located at 200 Dartmouth Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to change the manager of the licensed business from Cheyenne Diacis to Maria Martins Mendez. Secondly, has petitioned for a change of ownership interest, and lastly, has petitioned for a change of stock interest. Attorney Richard, once again.
Thank you again, Secretary Green, Madam Chairman, and members of the board. This involves Fogo de Chao restaurant, which is part of a some 60 restaurant group, both nationwide and some international. The ownership change, in essence, Bain Capital Private Equity purchased the interests from Roan Capital. So there was a handoff from one private equity group to another. The remainder of the ownership structure is basically the same, and details are in obviously the application and a biter that is included in that. For today, I would stress that there's been no operational change whatsoever, really. The restaurants that customers would notice, the restaurants were purchased and are continuing as they were before. The proposed manager, Maria Mendez, has worked at the Boston location for 3 years, about 1 year in management. She is familiar with the restaurant's operating practices and the rules and regulations regarding sale and service of alcoholic beverages. She's a U.S. citizen and a Massachusetts resident, and pending questions, we would ask that this application be approved.
Thank you again, Attorney. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
None for me.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Laura here from Consul Flynn's office. At this time, he would like to go in support of this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling item number 18, Arjun Inc., doing business as Vine and Barley, located at 326 Sumner Street in East Boston. Holder of a retail package store all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned for a change of officers directors and has also petitioned for a change of stock interest. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Myself, Nikhil Patel. Good morning, Secretary Green and board members and Madam Chairman. I am here petitioning a change of directors and transfer stocks 100% to myself. And the day-to-day operations will still be the same. I'm the manager in charge. The two other people are stepping away are my parents. So I'm just taking over 100% operations of the company.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Patel. I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
No questions for me, thank you.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much. Let me see. Calling item number 19, Sophie's Restaurant Group LLC, doing business as Sophia's Grotto, located at 18 Corinth Street in Roslindale. Holder of a restricted common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license, has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business from in one room on the first floor, kitchen in the rear, into rooms on second floor for prep area and storage, basement for storage, and to include an outdoor seasonal patio on private property for 54 patrons between the hours of noon and midnight. Capacity breakdown, seating, dining, 44, bar standing 5. 2, total 1,768 square feet, first floor, main dining room number 1, 2 entrances and exits, 22 rear Birch Street, bar seating for 5, dining room seating for 42, kitchen and center, 3 bathrooms located in connected half. Room number 2, Corinth Street, 2 entrances and exits with bar seating for 12, seating for 6, 1,281 square foot basement, kitchen prep and storage, annual outdoor dining on private property, seating for 65, from the hours of 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., closing hour 12 a.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Joseph Garufi.
Thank you, Mr. Garufi. If you could please just briefly present the proposed changes to the board.
Yes, my name is Joe Garufi. I've been in the restaurant business for 35 years in the city of Boston. I'm a Roslindale resident. We had an opportunity at Sophia's Grotto to take over the space next to us, approximately 600 square feet of dining area. We are using that area to help our overflow with a private party / waiting area. And we would like to extend that into that area. And that's about it. They're connected. It's one bigger space now. And that's what we'd like to do. We've been in business over at Sophia's Grotto for 20 years now, and a good member of the community.
Thank you. That sounds like a nice use of your license as far as amendment goes. I really don't have any questions. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
No questions for me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office will defer to the judgment of this board. Our office is unaware of any concerns related to this existing business expanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 20, Marja Corp., doing business as Giacomo's Ristorante, located at 355 Hanover Street. Holder of a common victular 7-day wines and malt beverages license, has petitioned to amend the description of the licensed business from in one room on first floor with kitchen in rear, storage and kitchen work area in basement, second floor to include seating for 30 patrons. 2, restaurant space A, 355 Hanover Street entrance, in one room on ground floor with kitchen in rear and dining area with seating for 25 patrons. Storage and kitchen work area in basement and in one additional room on second floor with seating for 20 patrons. Restaurant Space B, 351 Hanover Street entrance, in one additional room on ground floor with additional dining areas with seating for 28 patrons and additional restroom. Restaurant Space A and Restaurant Space B contiguous and connected through the interior of the premises. Altogether comprised of approximately 2,400 square feet with 2 entrances and 4 exits, 12 o'clock closing hour. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Thank you, Secretary Green, and good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Ryan Gosda on behalf of the licensee. With me this morning as well as Adrian Travelloni, who is the owner and manager of record for the existing restaurant Giacomo's at 355 Hanover Street. We're here this morning, similar to the application before this one, with respect to an alteration of premise to expand the existing dining area for Giacomo's into the adjacent space at 351 Hanover Street. My client recently had the opportunity to secure an additional lease for what was formerly the Pomodoro restaurant next door, and by this application we'll be expanding the existing dining room on the first floor of Giacomo's into that space, yielding approximately 450 additional square feet on the first floor, and that will include 28 additional seats for the main dining room. Aside from the expansion of the dining room, there are no operational changes proposed. The closing hour will remain 12 a.m. midnight. And before coming before you all today, we did discuss this application with both ONS, NURA, and NUNIC, and we're unaware of any opposition. Having said that, we're certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have, and we would ask that the application be approved.
Thank you, Attorney Gosda. No questions for me. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran?
No questions for me. Thank you.
Me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office will defer to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the applicant's representation, an abutters meeting was held and they were in contact with the 2 civic associations. Our office is unaware of any concerns at this time. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling item number 21, Top Tier Enterprise Inc. doing business as Home Market located at 165 Belgrade Ave in Roslindale. Holder of a retail package store wines and malt beverages license has petitioned to change the category of the licensed business from a retail package store wines and malt beverages to a retail package store all alcoholic beverages license. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Hi, my name is Anshel. I will be the representative for Home Market.
Thank you. And sorry, for the record, what is your last name, Angel?
Louis Jean.
One more time.
Louis Jean.
Great, Louis Jean. Ms. Louis Jean, you may please proceed with the outlining the proposed changes to the board.
Okay, thank you. As I said, my name is Angel. I am the representative for Home Market, and we are requesting for a change of category to our current license. So we currently hold wine and malt license, so we want to change to an all alcohol license. So this is a request as a way to meet our customer demands and as a way to help us increase sales, because as a small business, we rely heavily on these same sales. So the store has other grocery items, and this will provide a one-stop shop for customers as we get these requests daily, and we will provide diverse products as well. And lastly, we are familiar with the rules and regulation of licensing laws, and we will highly adhere to them. And this is all I have. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. I have a few questions. So can you tell us a little bit more about Home Market? How much of your offerings are food and how much are currently beer and wine?
Yes. So currently we have about 40% beer and wine and 60% groceries, and that includes packaged goods, frozen goods, and drinks as well, and also dairy products.
Dairy products, okay.
Yes.
Did you submit a floor plan with your application?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I would like a floor plan that shows in the market where the groceries are, where the beer and wine currently is, and what you're going to be removing to add all alcohol?
Okay. We have the shelving space, so we wouldn't be removing that many items. It will be just a process of reorganizing the store, so we will be able to showcase what we have in the store.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other, the standard that this board looks at as to whether or not there is, whether or not we should grant this type of license is public need. And can you tell us where the closest all alcohol package store license is to you? Because I think there's one right across the street, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Yeah, but we see it as a way to complement of what's already around. And we have a diverse community, and the residents, there are certain products that they request that we will feel like that's something we can provide for them.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yes, so we do, as an example, we do get requests for like Greek alcohol or Greek products, and we have a vendor in mind that we will be able to provide these items for our customers.
Okay, did you say Greek products?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to be focusing on Greek offerings.
That's one of them, yes.
Okay, and what else will you be offering?
There
Is it
are,
something that people can't find in the area? Like, what's to say?
yeah,
So are you going to be duplicating what the place across the street is selling, or how are
like
you?
we want to offer what they don't currently have. For example, we have Greek wines that they don't have across the street, and that's something that we do offer for our customers. They know that if they need it, that's the place they'll come to purchase them. So we want to continue along that line.
Okay. Would it be a true statement to say that you're not offering domestic products? It's just going to be international products?
We will, yes.
Just international?
No, both.
Both. Okay.
Yes, yes. So we want to offer them and also offer like other things that are not that they cannot find across the street.
And how long have you been open at this location?
We have been here for about a year.
So you've had the beer and wine license for 1 year?
Yes, but
Okay.
this location has been around for more than 10 years.
Okay.
Yes.
So just again, like you have beer and wine right now. You're talking about
Yes.
offering Greek wine, which you already offer. So what is it in the all alcohol category that you'd be bringing in that do you understand we're talking about public need for this type of license, and you're talking about Greek wine, but you can already sell that.
Yes, I'm using the Greek wine as an example of what we provide or what we're complementing from what's already available from across the street.
No, I know, but you can do that without upgrading your license.
Yes.
So what is the upgrade? Across the street has all alcohol. You don't right now. So what would you be offering in the all alcohol category that people can't get across the street? We're trying to determine public need. This is literally across the street.
Right. So along that line, we also want to provide international items as well that they cannot find across the street.
Okay. Okay, we're going to need a floor plan to see the layout and what percentage of your offerings are going to be beer and wine and all alcohol before we can move on. But Commissioner Saxon and Commissioner Curran, would you like to ask some questions?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have the same concerns as the chair. I just want to kind of keep at it a little bit. So in applying for this upgrade, do you have a specific product in mind that you're going to carry that isn't available across the street?
I don't have any specific items in mind, but we do have requests from our customers that we can definitely use, something that we can provide for them.
All right, and have those requests been for specific products?
Yes.
And what have they said about those products? They can't get them across the street?
They cannot get them across the street. The closest store is not around. I don't know where the closest location where they will find it, but that's something they do ask us.
Okay. And now Rosendale Liquors is like, Google says it's 0.4 miles away. Does that sound correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And do you have any sense of what their offerings are? Like, are people not able to get what you're thinking about there as well?
No, I haven't looked at their of what they have available.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Saxon, any questions?
And also, my name is Rosela Tang, so I would like to add something. And I am the manager of the home market at 165 Rosendale. So the reason why we also requesting a liquor license because this is to increase our income so we can pay the bills because our customers when they come to
Oh, Ms. Letang, you've muted yourself. There we go.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, yeah, because the way it is, so when they come to buy to buy the beer, so they also ask for the hard liquor, so we don't have it, so they left and they don't buy anything from us. And also home market has been in business for more than 10 years. So before, so we were on the only one at that spot. And then that person came in and have the beer and wine before, after us. So there were like two beer and wine stores. Okay. So that's why I don't think like it's gonna be like an issue to have the liquor license because we were in business before them. So that's why we would like please to have the to upgrade to the liquor license.
Thank you, Ms. Letang. I'll turn back to see if there are any further questions from the board before we move to testimony.
My last question, I'm sorry. My last question is, you applied for the beer and wine license a year ago. Why didn't you apply for all alcohol then? You,
Yes. So we took over, there was a change of ownership. So we did take over the business about a year ago. So it was kind of just a change of
okay,
transfer what we already have. And to upgrade to a liquor license is something that we do have in mind, but we wanted to do it one step at a time.
okay, that's fine.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Nothing to add to the other commissioners, but just to reiterate, with your floor plan, I think it'll be good if you could just do a little bit of research to figure out what offerings you can carry that are not already carried by people that are very close to you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. If there are no further questions from the board, we will turn to testimony. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information in the community process. ONS had held an abutters meeting in late August, was lightly attended. The applicant was then connected with the West Village Neighborhood Association. Our office is unaware of any concerns with this proposal. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you very much. Calling item number 22, Immersive Art Space Boston LLC, located at 130 Columbus Ave. Holder of a general on-premise wines and malt beverages with liqueurs license has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to My Izakaya LLC, doing business as My, located at 31 Northern Ave. Premise consists of 1,248 square feet of restaurant space on one floor with one entrance and one exit, dining area with 33 seats, food preparation located in the rear of the space, two restrooms located in the rear of the space, storage area located behind the kitchen. Kevin Yufei Liu, manager, 1 a.m. closing hour. And additionally has petitioned to change the license type from a general on-premise to a Section 12 restaurant license. Attorney Lou Cassis. Attorney Cassis.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the board. Louis Cassis from Iyazaka. This is, as Mr. Green pointed out, this is a change of license type from a general on-premise wine and malt to a restaurant wine and malt with cordials. It's also a change of location from 130 Columbus Ave to 31 Northern Ave, and of course, the transfer of the license. This restaurant's going to be a unique concept of French-Japanese fusion food with a strong lunch program. The ownership team, there's four members of the ownership team, have extensive experience. They operate 5 or 6 restaurants, Boston, Cambridge, and Waltham area. The manager, Kevin Liu, is also one of the owners. He's with me today, as with Raymond Lee, one of the owners. He's a U.S. citizen, a Mass resident. He's familiar with the rules and regulations of the board and the ABCC. He's been in training at the other restaurants now for the last several months, getting ready to take over this restaurant if you approve it. We reached out to the various community groups. We had a butters meeting. No one seemed to be opposed. We also reached out to the Seaport Neighborhood Association, and I believe they gave their approval of the concept at the Seaport for a new restaurant. I have Kevin Liu and Raymond Lee with me. If you have any questions about the restaurant, please let me know. Thank you.
More minutes than those what might have. Thank you, Attorney Cassis. Thank you, Mr. Liu, for joining us. I think you said someone else was here too. Do you want to?
Raymond Lee.
Oh, Raymond Lee. Do you want to add anything? I don't have any specific questions. If not, I'll see if Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran have any questions.
I do not. Thank you.
I don't either. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office deferred to the judgment of this board. As you heard, ONS held a community process with an abutters meeting that was on October 16th. Abutters in attendance did not raise concerns to our office. The applicant then went on to meet with the Seaport Neighborhood Association, which was supportive of this proposal. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chairs and members of the board. Laura here from Consul Flynn's office. At this time, he will also like to go on record in support of this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, the board will take this matter under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Quickly, before we move on to the next item, I see Attorney Richard has rejoined us. There was just a quick question as to whether or not the proposed manager for item number 17 was present. I believe that Ms. Mendez was on under Koya's iPhone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much, and thank you for being with us. With that, we can move on. Thank you again for that. Just needed to confirm. Calling item number 23, KBG Inc., doing business as Kelleher's Bar and Grill, located at 1410 to 1420 Center Street in Roslindale. Holder of a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license has petitioned to transfer the license and the location from the above to Flick International Corp., doing business as Flick, located at 200 Clarendon Street. Premise consists of 8,132 square feet located on the 3rd floor of an office building with 2 entrances, exits in a space known as the 200 Club, with various meeting, function rooms, lounges, and an art gallery with a total occupant load of approximately 445 persons. Corey Templehoff, manager, 12 a.m. closing hour. And additionally, the applicant has petitioned to pledge the license to BPTRS Services, LLC. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Lundy Carr for Flick is here. Also on the call is Corey Templehoff. He is a Mass resident, a U.S. citizen, has over 15 years experience in the industry. We don't open until April of this year.
Okay, is Mr. Templehoff, I don't see him on my screen.
I'm here.
Oh, thank you. One last question. Are you familiar with the rules and regulations of this board, the ABCC, and the laws of the Commonwealth pertaining to the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So this is going to be a private, is this going to be open to the public?
No, it's not going to be open to the public. It's the tenants of 200 Clarendon.
Okay. And tell me a little bit more about the concept. Is it going to be just like a
There will be
like a bartender working it, or is it something where people, is it self-serve?
No, there will definitely be a bartender working it. It'll be open Monday to Friday from about 5 to 9 will be our normal hours, plus any special events or catering on premise only.
Okay. I'm going to ask Executive Secretary Green if they applied for the right category of license, given the description.
Yeah, I do not see a change of category application to make this a club license, which would allow this to be closed to the public. So we may need to work on updating the application for the correct license type.
Will do.
Okay. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
I guess just to add on, would that Secretary Green, would that require like a renotice?
It would. That requires a new advertisement and would likely require a new hearing. We can limit that hearing just to the change of type if the board doesn't need to hear anything else, but that is at the board's discretion.
Okay, so I guess to add on again, has there been a community process? Have you worked with ONS on this?
I don't have legal representative on the phone. My understanding was they've gone through the process, but I need to confirm that.
Newman, maybe you could help us.
Yes, yeah, we did not require an abutters meeting in these circumstances, but they were directed to meet with NAB, which they did so.
Okay. And NAB knew it was essentially what was happening with taking a public license and making it private?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. As previously mentioned, the applicant did go through a community process meeting with NAB. NAB decided to take a position of non-opposition. I think there wasn't maybe a lot of enthusiasm for a public license going private, but there wasn't any concerns that led them to oppose this proposal. And at this time, our office will defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chairs and members of the board. Laura here from Consulate Flynn's office. At this time, he would like to go in support of this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm here actually for another licensing matter, but my name is Paul Langley. I live at 2 Hazelmere Road in Roslindale, and our property is like right behind Kelleher's Bar. So I just have some questions on this. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. So are we saying that Kelleher's is going to, as asked to sell their, give or sell their license to another individual, and they will not be serving alcohol at Kelleher's anymore? Or is this like a split in the license? How does this work, please?
Yeah, the application that the board is considering right now is to transfer the license from Kelleher's to this entity, Flick International Corp. At the 200 Clarendon building.
Okay, and what does that mean if it's approved? What does that mean for Kelleher's?
If approved, Kelleher's would no longer have a license unless they were to apply for a new one or buy one. That this would be Kelleher's selling their license.
Okay, understood. That's the way I understood it, but I wanted to make sure I was clear. Okay, because that will influence some comments I had on the other license I wanted to comment on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? With that, the board will take this under advisement. And Mr. Carr, we will reach out afterwards about the change of license type and what that means for new application and advertisement.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Calling items 24, 25, and 26. Treehouse Brewing Company, Inc., doing business as Treehouse Brewing Company, located at 800 Boylston Street. Item number 24 has applied for a 19C Farmer Brewery pouring license to be exercised on the above, a portion of the Prudential Center on 2 levels. One arcade level consisting of an approximately 1,556 square foot retail space for off-premises consumption sales, including a brewery area with a walk-in cooler, employee areas, utility rooms, storage, and other back-of-house areas. 2 pouring stations with an aggregate square footage of no more than 50 square feet for on-premise consumption sales, located within the South Garden. Associated outdoor consumption area contains approximately 47,959 square feet, and the associated indoor consumption area contains approximately 1,597 square feet and approximately 89 seats. 2, the basement garage level will consist of approximately 980 square foot area for a walk-in cooler and employee area, and during the hours and days when the shopping center is open for business, 9 parking spaces for customer pickup of off-premise consumption sales, altogether comprised of 51,112 square feet with 13 entrances and exits as per plans on file. Item 25 is an application for a 19E Farmer Distillery pouring license to be exercised on the above portion of the Prudential Center, consisting of approximately 104 square feet on the arcade level, which will contain distillery equipment and associated storage, altogether containing 13 entrances and exits as per the plans on file. And item number 26 is an application for a combined 19H brewery and distillery pouring license to be exercised on the above. Premise to be licensed under Chapter 138, Section 19H consists of a portion of the Prudential Center on 2 levels. 1 arcade level consisting of approximately 1,556 square feet of inline retail premises. 4 off-premise consumption sales, including a brewery area with a walk-in cooler, employee areas, utility rooms, storage, and other back-of-house areas, together with 104 square feet within the back-of-house area containing distillery equipment and associated storage. 2 outdoor pour stations with an aggregate square footage of no more than 50 square feet for on-premise consumption sales located within the South Garden. The associated outdoor consumption area contains approximately 47,959 square feet, and the associated indoor consumption area contains approximately 1,597 square feet and approximately 89 seats. And level 2, the basement garage level will consist of approximately 980 square feet area for a walk-in cooler and employee area, and during the hours and days when the shopping center is open for business, 9 parking spaces for customer pickup of off-premise consumption sales, altogether comprised of 52,196 square feet with 13 entrances and exits as per the plans on file. Manager Lauren Lanier, closing time 10 p.m. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Thank you, Secretary Green, for making it through all of that. And good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Ryan Gosda on behalf of the licensee. With me as well on the call is Lauren Lanier, who is the proposed manager of record, together with Allison Maisley and Sarah Maggie Morin from Treehouse Brewing Company. As was read into the record, we're here this morning primarily on 2 applications submitted by Treehouse Brewing Company for both a farmer brewery pouring permit and a farmer distillery pouring permit, together with the 3rd application for a combined 19H pouring permit, malt beverages and distilled beverages. The space itself here is comprised of both brewery and distillery space, mainly located on the arcade level of the Prudential Center, with approximately 1,600 square feet of space on for the distillery and brewery operations, as well as a retail component for to-go orders on the arcade level. In addition to that, there is an extra 980 square feet on the garage level of the Prudential Center, with 9 dedicated parking spaces for pickup of off-premise retail orders. There is also, as was read into the record, a dedicated consumption area within the indoor arcade for the Prudential Center, comprised of approximately 89 seats, as well as 2 dedicated pour stations within the South Garden. In addition to the dedicated pouring stations, the license itself will cover the entirety of the South Garden, which is where a bulk of the large square footage noted in the description comes from, so that the ability to serve liquor that's brewed on premise can cover the entirety of that space for special events. That is something that Treehouse Brewing has been doing via one-day licenses since at least this summer without any incident. However, this application will now in effect replace those one-day licenses with something of semi-permanence now that the state brewery and distillery licenses have been obtained. Otherwise, there are no real changes proposed from what has been going on at the premise, with the exception of the new addition of the retail to-go orders, which is something that they're enabled to do via the distillery and brewery applications. And this will include a 10 p.m. closing hour. Before you all today, we did have discussions with ONS in terms of community outreach, and given this is self-contained within the Prudential Center and a butters meeting was not required, though we did discuss this with the Neighborhood Association of Back Bay, and we were unaware of any opposition, though I know that they did have some questions about the description of premise. Again, I think going back to the large square footage noted, that's really just to cover the entirety of the space outside so that beverages can be poured throughout that space for events. Other than that, we're happy to answer any questions. As I mentioned, Lauren Lanier, the manager of record, is on the call with us as well, and she is a U.S. citizen, a citizen of the Commonwealth. She is familiar with the rules and regulations regarding the sale and service of alcohol, and she has extensive experience in the industry, having worked for Treehouse Brewing for over 10 years. But again, we're certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Attorney. Just double check. Thank you, Ms. Lanier, for joining us. At this time, I don't have any questions. Commissioner Saxon, Commissioner Carr?
I guess I do. Maybe I'm missing it. So you did note the large square footage of the outdoor area. And so some of that's kind of like just connecting space, right? So that has to be included. Is that correct?
That's correct. So there's an interior, if you're in the space in the backside of the arcade on the Prudential Center, there's going to be a retail component built into the Prudential, in effect, or in a retail unit that's connected back of house through the garage level. And that will connect over to a consumption area within what you could call the hallway. And that's also connected to the south garden outside.
And so what you expect to be the consumption area would be quite smaller than this total area, right?
That's correct. Yeah, the interior consumption area is, I believe it's approximately 1,500 square feet.
Yeah. But the exterior one, do you have an idea? Like what is the max capacity of your outdoor going to be?
The overall capacity is, I believe, 400 persons is the occupancy load. Again, the outside space, I think, is ballpark 45,000 square feet. So it's a large space, but a lot of it is also, there's berms, there's structural elements. So a lot of it is not entirely usable.
Yeah.
And it's a space that Boston Property uses for, a variety of different corporate events. And this is something that would enable Treehouse to be able to serve beverages at those types of events.
Okay, thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on items 24 through 26, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. To hear from the applicant's representation, ODS do not require an abutters meeting due to the location within the neighborhood. That being said, our office is unaware of any concerns stemming back from the many one-day licenses Treehouse Brewery has used over the years. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take these under advisement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Calling item number 27, Mi Finca Mexican Foods LLC, doing business as Mi Finca Mexican Restaurant and Pizzeria, located at 4249 Washington Street in Roslindale, has applied for a common victular 7-day wines and malt beverages license to be exercised on the above 1,800 square foot restaurant on the first floor level with 1 entrance, 2 exits. Right side of the space includes service station and dining area with 10 tables with seating for 34. Kitchen located on the left side of the space, 2 restrooms in the rear, basement for storage only. Manager Oscar Bonilla, closing time 11 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Me. Good morning, Michaela Bates. Oscar also joins me online. Oscar has been in business for 4 years at Mi Finca. He also owns a few other businesses in Roslindale. He has been in business for 30 years. He has been in the food and beverage industry for 30 years. He is a U.S. citizen. He is a resident of Roslindale. He is familiar with the rules and regulations of the licensing of selling alcohol. And again, he has been in the business for 30 years, including a managerial experience at Pizzeria Uno. So he is well aware on how to sell alcohol. So we are just requesting a beer and wine license. We are here for any questions. Oscar is online as well if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Bates, for joining us. And I don't see Mr. Bonilla, but he's here to speak up. Maybe I'll see him.
Let's see. Oh, there he is. He doesn't have his camera.
Oh, I see him. Yep.
Yes.
Hi, thank you. So
thank you.
the standard the board looks at in granting these licenses is public need. So can you tell me a little bit more about the offerings at this restaurant and how beer and wine would complement that and what the public need is for a license at this location?
Absolutely. Mifinka is a fusion between authentic Mexican food and also classic Italian food. So that in itself sets with our diverse menu, it sets us apart from all the other establishments in the area. And a lot of our customers, they come in. We hadn't even really thought about applying for a beer and wine license with the 4 years that we had been in business, but a lot of our customers had told us, we love coming here. The food is amazing. The establishment is incredible, but we would just love it if we could get beer with our pizza at the end of the day. So that is something that we have heard from our customers. They kind of put the seed in our head that we should probably think about getting a beer and wine license. The other Mexican restaurants in the area, they don't have like the beer and wine license. There's a place next door. They also sell authentic tacos, but they also don't have a beer and wine license. And then the other places that offer Italian food, they may not have the Mexican side of it. So there is a need. There is a nick in the market that we are missing out on. So we definitely wanted to become a part of that. Yeah.
One other question, is this, I'm sorry, because I'm not familiar, I haven't been here before, but is this type of restaurant like are there waitresses and waiters, or do you go up and order from the counter?
It's both. So we're like it's a casual dining, so we do have 1 to 2 waiters on staff, but there's also a lot of takeout as well. So we have a diverse clientele. We get a lot of like families, a lot of students after school, a lot of people from the neighborhood who just want to gather after work. So it is definitely both. It's not a lot of seating.
So if someone's going to sit down and eat in the restaurant, does a waitress come and a waiter or waitress serve them, or do they order at the counter?
They can do both. Usually, so you can place an order. It depends. You can go in and you can seat yourself, and a waiter does come up to you, or you can place an order at the desk and then you can go find a seat and then the waitress will come and bring you your food. But there is a waitress that's offering service the whole time while if you're eating in the restaurant.
So tell me a little bit about, should you be granted this license, will your staffing model change? Who's going to be serving alcohol? Are people going to go to the counter and buy it at the counter and sit down, or?
No, I believe, and Oscar, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's going to be more of like a true sit down and we're going to ID you at the table. Alcohol is only going to be consumed in the restaurant. We're not going to be selling any alcohol for like retail to leave the restaurant, none of it to go. Only to be opened in the restaurant, only to be poured in the restaurant, only to be consumed in the restaurant while you're sitting down. And Oscar, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Hi, everyone. Yes. Now, definitely, we have right now 3 waiters, and if we get the beer and wine license approved, I think we're gonna add another 2 servers, including bartender, and also just like what Michaela said, we have waiters all day long. Both shifts. And we do have a takeout and dine-in. We have a host who waiting for the customer to dine in, we bring to the table, and would be a waitress come in to take the orders, and whoever orders a beer or wine will be served by the waitress. But it's not like I just go to the counter and order food. That's for takeout only. But who wants to dine in? That's when the servers come and take the order in from the first moment.
Okay. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you.
Just to make sure that you have a plan for preventing underage drinking in your establishment. Just, you're carding, you're asking questions, you're making sure that any young individual who's with a crowd who looks older, that they're not passing it off to that younger individual. All of those things that will ensure that your license remains, healthy
Yes,
and good.
I'm very aware of that. I mean, like Chile said, I've been in the industry for 30 years. I've been running restaurants in Bollinger Street in Boston. Manager like weekends and marathon days, and I know how that works. I got all the experience that I needed, and I think I got the plan for that.
Thank
How
you.
many seats do you have right now?
34.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions before we move to testimony? Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information, the community process. ONS held a Butters meeting in November. I was lightly attended, but those in attendance did express support for this proposal. They were then connected with the West Village Neighborhood Association. Our office is unaware of any concerns at this time. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Diana Bronchek representing Councilor Pepen for District 5. The council would like to go on record that he 100% supports this application. We have also heard from constituents asking and supporting this application for a wine and beer license at Mi Finca. Oscar, Michaela, and the larger team are the epitome of engaged small business owners. They keep the place clean. It is well run, well organized, well loved, and we do not see any concerns with this application being granted at this time.
Thank you very much. Diana, are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Nope. Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you. Calling item number 28, Merle's Kitchen LLC, doing business as Merle's Kitchen, located at 10 to 18 Bowden Street in Dorchester, has applied for a common victular 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above on one floor of a mixed-use building, 3,800 square feet of space, including dining area, bar seating, and private dining room with seating for 150 patrons. Bathrooms, kitchen, and storage located in rear of space, 3 entrances, exits. Manager Chanel Walker, closing time 2 a.m. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Hi, thank you, Attorney Green, and good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Marguerite Roberts with Prince Lobel here on behalf of the applicant. And with me today is Chanel Walker, the owner of Merle's Kitchen and the proposed manager of record. We are here today seeking a new CV 7-day all alcoholic beverages license for Merle's Kitchen's new location at 10 to 18 Bowden Street in Dorchester. This address is part of the Four Corners Plaza, a mixed-use development in the Four Corners Commercial District. The proposed license premise consists of approximately 3,800 square feet of ground floor commercial space in one of the buildings that's part of this development. The floor plan includes a spacious dining area with lots of seating, a small bar in the back, and a private dining room, which really creates a welcoming and family-oriented environment, which is Chanel's goal for this new location. Chanel's a longtime Dorchester resident. He currently operates Merle's as a takeout-only restaurant on Washington Street. So this location is a great opportunity for Merle's Kitchen and really addresses a public need by offering a new sit-down dining option featuring authentic Jamaican and Caribbean cuisine in a neighborhood with only about 4 on-premise liquor licenses sharing the same zip code. Chanel's earned a loyal following with his unique menu, which includes signature dishes like his jerk chicken, curried goat and oxtail, and a variety of Rasta pastas. For today, we held in a Butters meeting, and Chanel appeared before the Harvard-Washington Norwell Neighborhood Association and UNA at their monthly meetings and received letters of support from both. Finally, Chanel is the proposed manager of record. He's a U.S. citizen, resident of Massachusetts, and familiar with the rules and regulations of this board and ABCC. He has extensive experience in the restaurant industry, having operated Merle's Kitchen since 2018. He has a food truck, and before that, he worked for North Coast Seafoods for over 15 years. So I'll pause there and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Attorney Roberts. Thank you, Mr. Walker, for joining us at this time. So am I correct? This is going to be, I know you said it, but how many patrons seating for how many? Oh, 150. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Saxon and Commissioner Carr and see if they have any questions.
Just for clarity, this is a new building that always intended to have a restaurant in it when it was planned, right?
Yes, they have ground floor commercial retail space.
Perfect, thank you.
From me, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS had conducted a butters meeting on October 24th. There was about 5 residents in attendance. One resident expressed concerns regarding the hours of operation being proposed, as well as parking. Other residents in attendance expressed support for the proposal. They were connected with the local civic association. Our office is unaware of concerns beyond that. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Calling item number 29, Amabaka Corporation doing business as Momo Masala, located at 2 Perkins Street in Jamaica Plain. It has applied for a common victualler 7-day alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above 1,684 square foot restaurant on 1 floor with 1 entrance, 2 exits. Main dining space with seating for 45. Kitchen is located in the center in the back with dishwasher and food preparation space. 2 unisex restrooms are located in back. Storage room is located on the right side of the building. The register, ordering, and takeout are located on the left side of the building. Manager Dow Thatch, closing time 10 p.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
I am Davtak. Am I ready to go?
Yes, please do.
First of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to your staff and their invaluable assistance throughout this process. Without their support, I would not be here before you and your committee today. They've been fabulous. My name is Davtak. I'm a resident of Massachusetts. I'm a U.S. citizen. I am the manager on the record. Additionally, I own Hyman Bistro in West Roxbury, which has won the Best of Boston twice, most recently in 2024, House Attendor in Newton. Both of this establishment have full liquor license, and Hyman Bistro has more than 15 years, and House Attendor has more than 5 years. During this period, we have maintained a spotless record with no violation. We take the rules and regulation very seriously, understand the importance of upholding them. At each of our restaurants, we strive to offer a unique concept. The idea of Momo Masala was inspired by us walking the street of Kathmandu. We want to bring the essence of Kathmandu to Boston, specifically in JP, because they have 2 restaurants, Indian restaurant, and then it's no longer there in the center of JP. Momo, known as dumpling in America, is widely popular in Nepal. Our menu has more than 20 different flavors of momo. Initially, we aimed to create a casual spot where customers could enjoy a quick lunch before heading back to their office, or a quick dinner before they're heading back to home. However, over time, due to delicious food supported by Google reviews and Yelp, our customer expressed a desire for a formal dining experience, similar to what we had at the other 2 restaurants. With this shift, they also request a wider variety of refreshment. We have gathered over 150 signatures from our customer in support of our application. We also have the backing of our neighbors, community groups such as JPNC, High Square Task Force in Jamaica Plain. Thank you for your serious consideration of our application. We hope and your committee will grant us a license as a Christmas wish. At this point, I'd be happy to answer any question you have.
Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Thatch. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
That's okay.
I appreciate the shout out to my staff who have worked very hard over the last several months to get these applications up and ready for these hearings while doing renewals. We had to renew every single license in the city of Boston in the month of November. That is no small task, and they have worked really hard. So thank you so much for acknowledging their hard work. They are outstanding.
Yes, I was there during I have to pay the common liquor license
Yeah,
and
the renewal fee for that.
yeah, I was there for 45 minutes and they was just amazing. Everyone who walks in, they were just friendly, smiling, and will, take their time in getting the, getting the details done. And I was just impressed, Thank you.
No, thank you. Are you already an approved manager of record by this board for alcohol in the city of Boston?
Yes,
Okay.
I have I own a restaurant, Hyman Bistro in West Roxbury, which is in Boston, I guess.
Yep. And is that beer and wine or is that all alcohol?
All alcohol.
Okay. Thank you. And you're applying for all alcohol at this Jamaica Plain location?
Yes, because we want to keep it consistent because we have the menu for the alcohol all at two other locations, and our customer who usually go to Hyman Bistro is going to JP and they want the same experience.
Thank you. That's very helpful. I actually have no questions for you at this time. I'm going to see if Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Carton have any questions.
I have no questions. Thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. An abutters meeting was held on October 30th. No one attended. Our office is unaware of any concerns at this time. They went on to meet with the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council, Public Service Committee, where they received approval. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jordan Frias here from Boston City Councilor Ben Weber's office. I'm going to go on record in support of this applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Mr. Reskind, I see your hand is raised. You may please provide your testimony.
My name is Michael Reskind. I live at 425 South Huntington Avenue in Jamaica Plain, member of the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council and chair of its Public Service Committee. We had a neighborhood hearing on this issue last week on December 3rd. Mr. Thack attended and gave the presentation for this new all alcohol license at 2 Perkins Street. It's a unique restaurant in the Hyde Square area, serving Indian and Nepali food. We did have 2 Indian restaurants in Jamaica Plain Center, about a mile away, but both of those have closed. This location did have an all alcohol license when it was the Haven, so there is a public need at this location. The all alcohol license did move to the brewery, so there is a public need with a unique restaurant in Hyde Square serving Nepali and Indian food. Mr. Thack is very well experienced, having 2 restaurants for about 15 years. And it's a full sit-down restaurant with servers. And he's also promised to serve alcohol with food only. We did, by the way, advertise and approve the license for an 11 p.m. closing, which we feel is appropriate in the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Great. Just to clarify, the application before the board right now is for a 10 p.m. close. Mr. Tack, are you seeking to amend that, or are you still seeking a 10 p.m. close?
We're still sticking to 10 p.m. close.
Great. Thank you for that clarity. If there are no further questions from the board or individuals wishing to testify, the board will take this under advisement. Thank you. Calling item number 30, S&S Restaurant LLC, doing business as Harry's All-American, located at 1410 to 1420 Center Street in Roslindale. has applied for a common victual or 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above 1,800 square foot restaurant on 2 floors with 1 entrance and 3 exits. First floor includes dining area with seating for 32, counter seating for 3, kitchen and prep area in rear along with 1 restroom. Basement is for storage only, together with 2 seasonal April to October outdoor patios on private property, one on Knoll Street side, the other on the Center Street side. Approximately 200 square feet for a total of 24 outdoor seats and closing hour of 9 p.m. for the patio. Manager Ednea Santiago, closing time 11 p.m. Attorney Trish Farnsworth. Attorney Farnsworth.
Oh, thank you, Attorney Green. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Attorney Trish Farnsworth with Lawson and Dwightson. And with me is Ednea Vieira, the owner and proposed manager. So this is Harry's All-American, which is really a beloved neighborhood establishment in Roslindale. It's been there 30 years. Ednea was fortunate enough to be able to acquire it 6 years ago. And she's run it, and, done a great job. It's, much supported by the neighborhood. And it's right now an existing breakfast and lunch, establishment. Ednea did try to open for dinner, probably after COVID, did survive the whole COVID, situation, but was not able to really make dinner work. A lot of people did ask for, alcohol beverages with dinner. She also has customers now that, would like to have, a cocktail with either lunch or, if she does more, the brunch kind of things on the weekends, people are looking for alcohol. She's, maintained the existing menu that was there previously and only enhanced it. She's added a lot of fresh ingredients. She does house-made guacamole, fresh orange juice, smoothies. She's really tried to just keep, offering more and more for the clients. It's a family business. Her husband's the cook, her son and daughter work there as well. Daughter's a college student, but works as a server when she can. And, at this point, the customers are asking for alcohol. And so there is public need. We've presented a petition with, more than 250 signatures. Now Kelleher's next door is selling their license. So that, also limits now one less place to have on service alcohol. I think there was some confusion in the press and I just want to correct it. Some people thought that Harry's was going to expand into Kelleher's, and that's not the case at all. There's no expansion of the current Harry's premises. There's no change in operation. There's no bar. She has a counter for counter service, but there's no bar. And, they'll all be servers that serve the food as they do now. She'd seek to, probably expand to offer dinner again. We've done the community process, ONS, and met with Lana, had an abutters meeting. Both of those were well attended, and I think we got great feedback. Ednea would be the manager. She's there at the restaurant all the time. She, owns and operates it. She's the appropriate person. She is a U.S. citizen. She resides in Massachusetts, and she is familiar with the rules and regulations. I've provided those. Prior to owning the restaurant, she worked in Dunkin' Donuts, so she doesn't have extensive experience with alcohol, but we've talked about, she would be doing the tips training, all the servers, anyone, involved in the alcohol would be tips trained as well. There's about, 10 to 11 total employees that she has there now. So I think, I can stop there if you had, additional questions at this point for Ednea. And that, except for one thing, I do want to point out, we really did have enthusiastic reception for this. And we did put it in as an all alcohol license request. The landlord has requested that perhaps we start with beer and wine only initially, just because, it's a new thing. And so that is his request. And Nia is agreeable to that. So, we could do, a beer, wine, cordial license, if that's the case.
Danny?
That, if that is what the applicant is seeking, that would be a different application before the board, but we can talk about that offline.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Was the community process based upon all alcohol?
Yes, it was.
Right, okay.
It was advertised as all alcohol as well.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, in Boston, we just don't upgrade licenses or switch back and forth. If the application is for all alcohol, that's what we have before us to consider. Unless you have submitted a new application for beer and wine, that's the process in Boston. You can talk with Danny afterwards, but I don't have any questions based upon the application and your testimony today. Thank you for joining us, Ania. I believe your attorney covered all the questions for manager of record. I'll see if Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran have any questions.
Not at this time, maybe after comments, but thank you.
None for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. So ONS hosted a butters meeting on November 14th. There were several residents in attendance. 2 residents expressed real enthusiasm for the proposal, and we're excited to see them try to get the license. There were some other residents who expressed concerns regarding parking, chiefly, the potential impact of deliveries pulling up. One resident asked if the city could investigate looking into adding resident parking. The applicant also met with the Longfellow Area Neighborhood Association on November 11th, where they received non-opposition from that civic association. With that information, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jordan Frias here from Boston City Councilor Ben Weber's office. We'd like to go on record in support of this applicant. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Diana Bronchek from Councilor Papen's office for District 5. The councilor would like to go on record that he supports this application. As stated, Harry's is a staple in the neighborhood on the border of both District 5 and District 6, beloved by all, and we fully believe that Nia will do her due diligence with this application and see no concerns at the time.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter?
Yes, this is Paul Langley again. I live at 2 Hazelmere Road. Our house is the closest house to Harry's that abuts it. And first off, I want to say that we've lived here since July of 2002. When we moved into this property, that space that Harry's occupies today was vacant. A while later, perhaps a few months, a year or so, a gentleman by the name of Gary Martell and his brother opened the Arboretum Cafe. Their plan was to serve breakfast with crepes, but shortly after they opened, they realized that people really didn't want crepes so much as they wanted bagel sandwiches, so they changed. Eventually, that was sold to Harry, and the name was changed to Harry's All-American, which is the name that is still there today. So that was probably 2004, maybe. And so it's been under the current name for about 20 years, but it hasn't been consistently in business for over 30 years. It's been consistently in business since the early 2000s. Prior to that, I don't know since I didn't live here. But anyway, eventually Harry sold it to Chris and his brother Ron, and they owned it for quite a while. Again, all of these people serve breakfast and lunch. And during the time that Chris and Ron owned it, I was able to, the last few years of their ownership, I was able to work at home. So I actually went there for lunch 2 to 3 times per week on the days that I was at home, since it was a close by place and quick to go in. I had a short period of time for lunch and didn't feel like making my own. So I knew all the waitresses at Harry's when it was under Chris and Ron's. And then I retired, and so my trips there were fewer since I had less money and more time. And eventually I was going there a couple of times a month, and I went maybe in 2018-ish, and all of the staff that I knew were gone. And I ran into Ron a few days later on the street, and I mentioned to him what's going on, and he said he'd sold the place. So that is the current owner. That brings us up to speed on the ownerships. And I typically
Mr.
went there
Langley,
like
we
a
are
couple.
at your 2 minutes. If there's a final point you would like to make before the board, otherwise you can submit testimony in writing.
Okay, so my concerns are that I have been there, and they have been out of common foods, and they have switched from a popular beverage of Coke to Pepsi, and they've been out of hamburger, they've been out of French fries sometimes. I just don't think it's well managed, and I don't think adding extra items is going to be helpful. My other concerns are the parking. Also blocking of the driveway, that happens both to Kelleher's and them. If people want to have dinner at Kelleher, at Harry's, they could go to Kelleher's, but I understand now that's changing. I didn't know that. I also have concerns about the trash. Their dumpsters have been overflowing at times, and I believe they have been cited for this on at least one occasion. The outdoor seating doesn't actually seem to be being used. I may be wrong about that, but it just sort of, I know it's cold now, but in the summer it just sat there. I don't remember seeing anybody actually being served there. So it seems like my understanding is there's 5 licenses available. This
Thank you,
type of
Mr.
license.
Langley. So we've gone well beyond the 2 minutes that we allow for members of the public to provide testimony. If there's anything additional you would like the board to consider, you may put that in writing to licensingboard@boston.gov.
Okay, can that be done via email?
Yes, licensing board, all one word, licensingboard@boston.gov.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? With that, the board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you. And Attorney Farnsworth, if they are seeking a beer and wine or cordials license instead, please contact our office and we can figure out how to get that application.
I will. I'll circle back with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Calling item number 31, Jeffrey's Yacht Club, located at 565 Sumner Street in East Boston, has applied for a club all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above. One floor that is approximately 440 square feet with 5 rooms, 2 entrances, and 2 exits with a seating capacity of 20. Manager Brian George, closing time 1 a.m. Who is present on behalf of the applicant?
Hi, this is Brian Gannon. So my name is Brian Gannon. I'm a member of the Yacht Club and also a neighbor. I'm representing the club as one of the younger members of the club at 51. But I'm, to navigate this process, and I also have a lot of experience in the restaurant industry. With me is the proposed manager of record, Brian George, who's worked in the hospitality industry for over a decade, familiar with the management and operations of licensed establishments. He is a U.S. citizen, a resident of the Commonwealth, and as I mentioned, he's very familiar with the rules and regulations of the City of Boston Licensing Board. About the club, we were founded in 1876. We're the oldest yacht club on the Eastern Seaboard, and it's privately owned by members. We were previously approved for a license in 2021, but since there were no licenses available, we are back here before the board again with a new application. We are a nonprofit 501c7, and the belief for public need for the license is to maintain the social, historical aspects of the club and to maintain the maritime traditions and social activities that occur there. We've, there's a long tradition of social activities at the club. Although it's a private club, the club is also an asset to the community. It allows members to bring guests to the waterfront at an affordable price. We also have very affordable membership and boat storage so that there is the ability to be a boater for a very low entrance fee. We also host community events. This Monday, we had the JP&A, the Community Neighborhood Association, came to the club and hosted their annual Christmas holiday party. And we hope to continue that, hopefully with a license in the future to be able to serve alcoholic beverages. We received community support. And we also had previously, and we also have updated the club at the November meeting and flyered the surrounding community per ONS. We do not have rowdy guests. It's generally an older group of members that are at the club. We're isolated with no immediate butters. We abut the ocean and parks in the neighborhood. And we have, as I mentioned, great relationships with the community, host neighborhood meetings, holiday parties. The membership's 140, 150 members that are boating and sailing enthusiasts. And we have several lifetime members that have been around. We also have a lot of folks that are retired public safety, former detectives, Coast Guard, professionals, hospitality workers, auto mechanics, even Massport fire personnel. And we do have several members, including myself, that have substantive experience in the restaurant industry. I've managed and bartended for over 20 years myself. We also have a private road in front of the club for parking, and the club is only open to members and guests only. And we're happy to answer any questions that you have at this time. I'd also like to just thank the licensing team for navigating us through this process. This is the first time doing this, and for myself anyways, and I received a lot of great guidance and help. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that acknowledgement. So as you know, and as you stated, there are additional licenses that the city is now allowed to issue to applications where we find public need. There's a certain amount for certain zip codes. So this is unique in the sense that you would be taking a license that that's been newly created and then making it a private club license. So tell me a little bit more about the public need for making one of these licenses private club license in East Boston, where we've gotten more applications for East Boston than we have any other neighborhood in the city.
Yeah, specifically, we're a 501c, so we'd like the nonprofit, the community space license if it's available, which wouldn't deter or take away from another business that had applied in the community. I think East Boston has traditionally been a maritime community where there was a lot of industry and activity along that waterfront, and we've lost a good bit of that. But being that we've been around since 1876, we are one of the oldest, and we really would like to maintain that history and keep that maritime tradition alive here. We also do offer membership to community members in the neighborhood, and also many of them do participate with members in boating activities and enjoying the harbor.
How much is the membership?
It's $350, I think $350 or $375 annually. And to store a boat at our club, you can rent a slip for $700 for the season with water and power, which compared to the marina or other places is well under the market rate.
Okay, so you mentioned community space license. You would like one of the community space licenses. Is it open to the community? Do you be sponsored by a member? It sounds like a private club, but you want a community space license.
Well, you're sponsored by a member, but we also do host community events there as well.
And what kind of spaces do you have inside?
It's a single, let me see if I can pull up the application here. It's a single floor. Maybe like 60 years ago, the original burnt down. So it's a single floor. I think it's 400 square feet, I believe.
So it's like a function room.
Yes, exactly.
And what kind of community events would you be doing?
We had in the past, the thing is that it has a long tradition. There used to be a regatta that was hosted there, the Jeffries Yacht Club Regatta. In fact, there's a song, the Jeffries Yacht Club Waltz, that's available in the Library of Congress that was written about the club. So we'd like to continue traditions such as that, bringing together the folks over at Pierce Park Sailing, some other community boaters to join. There are 2 other yacht clubs in the community as well that would like to participate with and continue that community of boating in the neighborhood. So we also host the neighborhood association meeting. Previously in the past, there was a 4th of July party, an annual 4th of July party where we'd invite neighbors as well. So, we do look forward as we continue forward with this club and try to maintain the history. We do hope to do more of those events, but not having a liquor license is prohibitive to some of these events that we'd like to host.
Do you guys pull one-day licenses right now?
We do not.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Saxon or Commissioner Curran, do you have any questions?
Do you have a reason why you don't pull 1 days for your special events?
I just think the process is complicated. I can't tell you exactly why we haven't done so.
Okay, thank you.
About how many community events do you think you'll have on average per year or per month, whatever you'd know?
I can't tell you. I'd have to ask the board how many we'd have. I'd say, we do socialize there every weekend. So I think as far as the members and whom a lot of them are neighbors in the community, we do meet a couple days a week. But I would say I can't really say without the executive board who runs the club to determine how many public community events we have. But we would definitely be hosting that Jeffries Neighborhood Association event annually. And we also do events. We did a children's Christmas party with Santa. Santa Claus came last week, and so there's other events that do occur as well.
Any other questions from the board before we move to testimony?
No, thanks. I have no questions.
Okay, with that, we will see. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information in the community process. This applicant had gone through an O&S process prior. We had them circulate flyers to abutters within 300 feet. We did receive 2 letters in opposition, one citing concerns with drunk driving. The applicant had previously, like I mentioned, gone through a process and had met with the Jeffries Point Neighborhood Association, which was supportive. They reached back out to the Jeffries Point Neighborhood Association, which did not require them to meet with the Civic again. As I understand, I believe Jeffries Point continues to be supportive of this proposal. With that information, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, calling item number 32, JC and Friends, Inc., doing business as K Chicken, located at 86 Peterborough Street, has applied for a common victualler 7-day all alcoholic beverages license to be exercised on the above restaurant space with dining area with seating for approximately 21 on the first floor, 800 square feet. Basement area for storage, walk-in coolers, office, and staff area is approximately 740 square feet. Total square footage of the entire premise is 1,540. 1 entrance and 2 exits. Manager Shirley Wong. Closing time 10 p.m. Who's present on behalf of the applicant?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Elizabeth Pisano from Upton, Connell, and Devlin on behalf of the applicant, JC and Friends, doing business as K Chicken, located at 86 Peterborough Street. I just want to echo what someone said earlier, that your staff is doing an amazing job. I do want to just thank Wendy, Maria, Attorney Green. Everyone's been so responsive, and I know you guys are extremely busy this time of year, so thank you. So back to this. This application is for a new Section 12 all alcohol license. As a way of background, K Chicken is a locally owned restaurant in the Fenway area. With me today is Shirley Wong. She is a Boston native and a first-generation Chinese American who grew up here in Chinatown. She's a proposed manager of record and is one of the owners, which is 30% women-owned, something we don't see too often in the hospitality industry. K-Chicken specializes in authentic Korean cuisine. Liquor license would allow them to serve soju and other Korean beverages that are typically paired with Korean fried chicken and some other dishes that they have on their menu, which is important to them so that they're able to enhance the cultural dining experience for its customers. Awarding them one of these liquor licenses would increase their revenue opportunities, meet their customer expectations, and allow them to stay competitive in Boston's dining scene. We do believe that there is a public need for this liquor license. There are no licenses at the neighboring establishments at the corner of Peterborough Street, and there are limited options in the Fenway area altogether that offer a true Korean dining experience with the traditional alcohol pairings that you would get elsewhere. The ability to serve what's called soju and chimney and certain beverages that are similar to that allows them to attract those customers and patrons looking for the authentic experience. It would boost their foot traffic and really create those long-lasting, frequent customers that will keep this restaurant lively and keep coming back for more. They're a small restaurant. They're a little over 1,500 square feet. They have 21 seats in the restaurant. So really expanding their menu to cater to all of their customers is really, really important to them. Since opening a few months back, Shirley has constantly had customers asking if they're soju or chimney, and they're very disappointed when they're told no, to the extent that they're actually leaving online reviews about their disappointment, which is, it's crucial for small businesses and restaurant owners to have great 5-star reviews. Everyone goes to look at Google and Yelp to go, see if they want to go to a new restaurant or not. And if they're seeing that online and the disappointment from people, it just turns them off and it's not great. It's not great for the restaurant owners. So that's been really hard for Shirley to see, and a big pill to swallow, that her customers are disappointed and actually going and leaving those reviews for other potential customers to see. Like I said, it's a small restaurant with a small seating capacity. So serving alcohol would be only for sit-down dining. There is no bar there, so the alcohol would be stored in a refrigerator space. And so again, as we all know, Boston's restaurant market is extremely competitive. It comes with high costs, rent, labor, utilities, rising food prices. And for K-Chicken to be able to remain sustainable, it's essential for them to maximize its menu offerings to attract and retain those customers. The character and fitness of the applicant is very strong. Shirley has been working in the food and beverage industry for over 6 years, and she has the experience necessary. She's worked in other restaurants here that do have a liquor license. She's been tips trained in the past. So she is familiar with the rules and regulations relating to the sale of alcohol of this board and the ABCC. She's a U.S. resident, a U.S. citizen, Massachusetts resident. And if she were awarded one of these licenses, she would be sure to make sure all of her staff is tips trained. She's at the restaurant every day, and she's committed to training her employees to make sure there are no issues there. We have gone through the community process. We held an abutters meeting on November 14th, and we met with the Fenway Civic Association on November 21st. Just a couple of things that we talked about with the Fenway Civic Association were merely related to making sure that the takeout isn't an issue, which majority of Shirley's business is sit down in restaurant dining. They were concerned about the congestion and the Uber drivers, DoorDash, the double parking, that they explained that was an issue for other restaurants nearby. But Shirley's only been open for a couple of months, and that isn't the majority of her business model. They were also concerned about the trash and the type of takeout materials that the takeout boxes are made of. They just want to be, sustainable in that respect. So we just went over some of those things. They were supportive of Shirley and her opportunity to go and apply for one of these licenses. And that is pretty much it. We have sent in a petition where Shirley got over 25 signatures in support of this. And we're happy to answer any other questions that you have.
Thank you, Attorney Pisano. Thank you, Ms. Wong, for joining us. At this time, I have no questions. Commissioner Saxon, Commissioner Curran?
Have there been alcohol licenses in this area before on Peterborough?
In this specific location, no. The prior owner was just a CV.
Okay, and it's a strip of restaurants there, am I right?
Yes.
Has there ever been an alcohol in all that whole area, that little strip there?
I don't know the complete history of all of them. I know right now there are none.
Okay, thank you.
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any individuals who would like to testify on this matter, beginning with elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information in the community process. ONS had run an abutters meeting on November 14th. The applicant, as you heard, went on to meet with the Fenway Civic Association on November 21st. As previously you heard from the applicant's representation, there was some concerns and questions regarding trash storage, where delivery scooters would potentially be parked, etc. The applicant was able to work with that Civic and address some of those concerns. Ultimately, the Civic did write a letter in support of this proposal. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Tony. I'm here on behalf of Councilor Sharon Durkin, and she just wanted me to express her support for the proposal before you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals who would like to testify on this matter? Board will take this under advisement as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those are all the items before the board this morning. The board will convene to vote tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Notice has been posted to the city's website. That will adjourn this hearing. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.